In the world of crime, he's known as the Michael Jordan of murder. A chilling moniker, isn't it? This isn't a name that is tossed around lightly. It's a name that has been earned, or rather, that has been taken. Now let's make one thing clear. Michael Jordan is one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He's a legend. His skill, agility, precision, and relentless pursuit of victory set him apart from his contemporaries. He was, without a doubt, exceptional. Yet his greatness was in the realm of sports, a sphere where competition breeds camaraderie, where rivalry fosters respect, and where the pursuit of excellence is celebrated. The person we're about to discuss, however, is far from commendable. His arena was the dark underbelly of society. His game was crime. His victories were not celebrated, but mourned. His opponents were unsuspecting victims caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. His scoreboard was a grim tally of lives lost and families devastated, and yet in this twisted parallel universe, he was, in a disturbing way, exceptional. His name is shrouded in mystery, his face unknown. He has no fans, no cheering crowd. His career is not celebrated, but studied, analyzed, and dissected in an attempt to understand the mind of a criminal. His actions, while chillingly effective, are in no way commendable. They are a stark reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink, of the darkness that lurks in the shadows of society. Like Michael Jordan, he was relentless. But where Jordan's relentlessness brought joy and excitement, his brought fear and devastation. Where Jordan's precision was admired, his was feared. And where Jordan's victories were celebrated, his were mourned. So what made him the Michael Jordan of murder? Was it his skill, his precision, his relentlessness? Or was it simply his ability to evade capture, to remain a faceless phantom in the world of crime? Let's take a journey through his criminal career, each crime a game, each series of crimes a season. Every legend begins somewhere. For our criminal, his rookie season was marked by a series of robberies. Like a young player stepping onto the court for the first time, there was a mixture of raw talent and unrefined strategy. His first match, a convenience store on the outskirts of town, was a daring play. He showed agility, slipping past the security cameras unseen, and precision, emptying the cash register within minutes. Soon he was moving on to bigger courts, so to speak. A local jewelry store was his next target. His strategy was more refined this time, a testament to his quick learning. He waited until closing time, then swooped in, leaving with a haul that would make even the most seasoned criminals envious. Next, he moved on to the big leagues, a bank heist. This was a calculated play, planned meticulously down to the last detail. He was in and out before the alarm could even sound, his stealth and speed leaving everyone in awe. His final play of the season was a daring daylight robbery at a high-end boutique. It was a risky maneuver, but he pulled it off with the audacity of a player going for a buzzer beater. The boutique was left reeling, and our criminal walked away with his largest haul yet. Throughout this rookie season, he showed an uncanny ability to adapt and learn from each robbery. His tactics evolved, his execution became smoother, and his hauls grew larger. Like a rookie basketball player honing his skills, our criminal was perfecting his craft in the shadows. His audacious plays caught the attention of the authorities, but they were always one step behind. His identity remained a mystery, adding to his legend. A rookie season filled with audacious plays, setting the stage for what was to come. After the rookie season comes the breakthrough. The game was about to change. Like any seasoned pro, our subject wasn't satisfied with the status quo. He wanted more. He sought to elevate his game, to push the boundaries of what was possible in his grim field of expertise. In this so-called breakthrough season, the subject became bolder, more daring. His crimes escalated in severity, and his disregard for the rules of society grew more pronounced. Just as a basketball player might refine their shooting technique or improve their defensive skills, our subject honed his criminal techniques to a razor's edge. His crimes were no longer the work of an amateur finding his feet. They were the calculated moves of a professional, a player at the top of his game. His agility, his speed, his ruthlessness, all were honed to a terrifying degree. He was no longer just a player. He was a force to be reckoned with. But with this newfound boldness came an increase in risk. Just as a player who takes more shots on goal has a higher chance of missing, so too did our subject expose himself to greater danger. His actions attracted attention, sent shockwaves through communities, and left a trail of devastation in their wake. He was playing a dangerous game, and the stakes were higher than ever. Yet despite the risks, his performance was eerily consistent. Each crime, each point scored, was executed with a chilling precision that left investigators scrambling for answers. He was a step ahead, always evading capture, with a nimbleness that was as impressive as it was horrifying. But as the season drew to a close, the toll of his actions began to show. Communities were left reeling, lives were irrevocably changed, and a shadow of fear loomed over every street corner. This was no ordinary season. It was a reign of terror, a chilling showcase of the depths one man could descend to in the pursuit of his twisted game. The breakthrough season ended, leaving a chilling legacy in its wake. In the world of sports, the All-Star season is a spectacle to behold. For our criminal, it was no different. Enter what we might call the All-Star season, a period where audacity and cunning came together in a chilling harmony. This was the time when our criminal's offenses reached their peak. His actions bold, and his evasion of the law, nothing short of masterful. Imagine the audacity of a player who, at the height of his career, pulls off a string of slam dunks, each more daring than the last. Now transpose this onto the canvas of crime. Our perpetrator's slam dunks were the audacious crimes he committed, each one more shocking, more calculated than the previous. He moved like a phantom through cities, leaving his ominous signature at each scene. His actions were so brazen, so audacious, it was as if he was performing before an invisible crowd, a twisted game where he was both the player and the referee. And just like an all-star player who knows the court like the back of his hand, our criminal knew every nook and cranny of the cities he prowled. He could predict the moves of law enforcement with the precision of a chess grandmaster, always one step ahead, always out of reach. This was a man who had honed his craft to a terrifying degree. A criminal all-star in his own right, playing a game where the stakes were life and death. But as we know, all-star seasons don't last forever. Even the most seasoned players have their off days, their moments of vulnerability. And it was the same for our criminal. His audacious crimes, his cunning evasions, they couldn't last forever. The law was closing in, and the all-star season was drawing to a close. The all-star season, a horrifying display of criminal mastery, the pinnacle of his criminal career, a testament to the depths of human cunning and audacity. But remember, every all-star season has a finale, and in our next scene, we will delve into the downfall of this criminal mastermind. Every career has its downfall. The same is true in the world of crime. Our notorious figure, who had been effortlessly sailing through his criminal career, had his first taste of defeat. Like a champion basketball player, suddenly missing every shot, his once unblemished record began to falter. It started with a botched robbery, an operation that should have been as smooth as a well-practiced layup, but ended in a fumble. The authorities had been tipped off, and though he managed to slip through their fingers, it was the first major crack in his otherwise flawless game. Imagine a seasoned player going through a losing streak. With every game, the pressure mounts, the cracks widen, and the fans start to question their hero. Our criminal was no different. His subsequent operations were riddled with mistakes. It was as if he were a legendary point guard, now struggling to even dribble the ball. He was no longer the audacious rookie who'd taken the crime world by storm. He was no longer the all-star player who'd left his opponents in the dust. The authorities, once mere spectators to his criminal prowess, were now closing in, their determination fueled by his sudden vulnerability. The final blow came in the form of a double murder, a gruesome act that was as shocking as a flagrant foul in the final seconds of a tied game. This wasn't the calculated precision of a seasoned criminal. This was desperation, the reckless abandon of a player who knows he's about to lose. The investigation was swift, the evidence overwhelming, and just like that, our criminal, who'd once seemed untouchable, was captured. His reign of terror, his championship run in the underworld, had come to a crashing end. Every player, no matter how great, eventually faces defeat. For our criminal, the defeat came not on a court but in a courtroom. His legacy, however, would live on, a chilling reminder of the dark side of ambition and power. The downfall, a relentless pursuit that finally saw the end of this criminal's reign. As the final whistle blows, the legacy of the player remains. In our case, the legacy is a chilling reminder. We've delved into the disturbing career of a man whose actions earned him the moniker of the Michael Jordan of murder. His rookie season was startlingly ruthless, a dark foreshadowing of the heinous acts that would follow. Shockingly, his scoreboard would only continue to climb, each point representing a life cruelly taken, a family torn apart. The breakthrough was a period of intense activity for this player, his games becoming more frequent, more audacious. His all-star season was a time of unparalleled terror, as he moved like a shadow, striking fear into the hearts of the innocent, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake. But it was in the downfall that the true extent of his atrocities came to light. His final matches were a desperate scramble, the law closing in, his reign of terror reaching its inevitable conclusion. Yet the aftermath of his crimes, the legacy he leaves behind, is far from a conventional sports hero's. It's a wake-up call, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface. The impact on society has been profound. His games triggered a seismic shift in law enforcement strategies, a reevaluation of how we approach and handle such cases. The seasons he played have led to significant advancements in forensic science, each match serving as a lesson in criminal psychology. Victims' families, forever marked by his points, found a voice in their grief, becoming advocates for change, champions for justice. His career serves as a stark reminder of the need for vigilance, for community, for compassion. But his legacy is also one of resilience, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those affected who chose to rise from the ashes, to turn their pain into purpose, their fear into fortitude. And there we have it, the chilling legacy of the Michael Jordan of murder. In the end, crime is no game, it's a devastating reality that affects real lives. As we wrap up this narrative, it's important to remember that while we've talked about these heinous crimes in the context of a game, this is far from the truth. We've used the metaphor of basketball, a sport known for its strategy, agility, and skill, to illustrate the chilling efficiency and cold calculation of a criminal's mind. But we must never forget the gravity of these actions, the lives lost, and the families left in ruins. Every murder, every robbery we've discussed, each has left a lasting scar on communities and on the hearts of those who loved the victims. Behind each statistic, each point scored in this gruesome game, there's a human story, a life abruptly ended, dreams shattered, potential unfulfilled. It's easy to get lost in the narrative, to admire the cunning, the audacity, the sheer audacity of the Michael Jordan of crime. But this admiration should never eclipse the reality of his actions. We've seen the damage, the horror, and the lasting pain caused by his career. And while our fascination with true crime can lead us to understand the mindset and motivations of criminals better, it should never make us lose sight of the victims. We should remember the faces and stories behind the numbers, the individuals whose lives were cruelly snuffed out. They're not just stats in a game, but people with their own dreams, hopes, and families. They are the real story here, and it's their memory that should guide our understanding and discussion of these crimes. As we delve into the world of true crime, we should do so with an awareness of the human cost, the real-world implications of these actions. We should approach it not as a thrilling game, but as a sobering reminder of the depths of human depravity and the tragic consequences of crime. We should encourage critical thinking, empathy, and respect for the victims as we explore these narratives. We should use the insights we gain not to glorify crime, but to prevent it, to create safer communities, and to support those affected by such tragedies. This narrative, like any other true crime story, is more than just a gripping tale. It's a call to action, a plea for understanding and compassion, a reminder of the devastating impact of crime. So as we step away from this story, let's not forget what it truly represents. Let's remember the victims, let's honor their memories, and let's strive to make our world a safer place. Let's use our fascination with true crime not as mere entertainment, but as a tool for change, for understanding, and for empathy. Remember, the real world is not a game, and crime is not a sport.